Hi, I want to share something with you about the principle or energy that many call spiritual light. And we've heard that term mentioned in a lot of different places in religious literature, in some of the non traditional spiritual literature, as well as uh, lectures and talks and um, workshops in different places. We've heard the term spiritual light mentioned and as an energy, and some people think that this is an energy that we can use for healing or for enlightenment. Um, and I want to talk a little bit about it, but not a lot. This is just an introduction. And what I want to introduce you to is a kind of non experiential experience around this light. And I want to start with the with this um, uh, let's see, with the assumption, I guess you could say, that all of us have a sense of spirituality within us that sometimes manifests in us as as moments of enlightenment or thoughts of enlightenment or breakthroughs, in mind or heart, where we feel, sense in some way, or even see this glow or this light, this unearthly kind of or transcendental, I guess you might say, manifestation of light. And accompanying that, for many of us, is this upliftment of spirit, upliftment of mind and heart, and a general sense of well-being. And like I said, many religious traditions talk about this light. In Christian tradition, it's mentioned that Jesus was the light of the world. It was a light that came into the world. And we even have a description of him standing on a mountaintop surrounded by light. But also in Hindu scripture, you find lots and lots of references to this light, this inner light, also within Buddhism, other places, in the Kabbalah as well. I think probably in every religious tradition that that is centered around valid experience of the non-physical realities, there is some presentation and some understanding, a term I use loosely, of this light, of this spiritual light. So we all have that within us. It's said that when we're born, we are set on a course of illumination, of spiritual illumination, of awakening over time to the point where we're headed towards complete enlightenment or beyond nirvana. I don't even know the right words to use for this, but it's obvious, or at least it's obvious to me, and I think to many of you, that this light is a truth that exists within us, and we recognize that in moments of quiet and inner stillness, when we experience this sense of well-being and this inner filling up with beauty. That's another word that I use for light, is this sacred sense of beauty that exists within us. Some people say it's the soul, but it's really what enlivens the soul. What enlightens the soul, what awakens the soul and the spirit. And we've seen signs of this even in our secular culture, our non-religious and non-spiritualized culture, where people talk about having a bright idea, or when someone enters a room, they lighten up the atmosphere of the room. I remember as a kid in comic books, when somebody had a great idea, you saw a light bulb going off over their heads. And so there's a lot of symbolic language that talks about the light, but it talks about it in terms of mental understanding or mental experience. And what we're talking about here is something that is supramental or beyond the mental. It is tied to the body, tied to the mind, infusing everything. This light of understanding, this light of realization, this light of joy, of grace, of upliftment. So it shines through everything, but can be found through the heart, through non-thinking, can be seen with the non-seeing eye, or the spiritual eye, which sees in a different way. So I want to start with the assumption that everyone watching this video and listening to me believes this. This is my assumption, that within you, as within me, as within everyone, within the eyes of a newborn child, a laughing infant, a loving embrace, the embrace of lovers, and within the beauty of life, and within the stillness and peace between each moment, there shines this light, and this light shines within you and me. It is within us. It's not always seen, not always easy to access, not even always easy to believe, but we always come back to it, don't we? We always come back to this realization that life is infused with this illuminating energy, this beauty that is beyond the energies of physical reality. And so I want to start with the assumption that you believe this, because we're going to do a little exercise, and for us to do this exercise, it's important that you believe this. You don't have to understand it, and you don't have to do anything about it right now. But it's important that you believe it. Because I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to make a suggestion to you. And even though this is a video and we're not having a real personal interaction, and I can't see you or see your response, still I can ask this question and you can still respond. And it's something that we can all do anyway. So what I'm going to make a request, and as I make this request, what I want you to do is nothing. I want you to just listen to the request and respond. And when I say respond, by doing nothing, respond by allowing the answer to be, the response to be to this. And you don't have to look for it, for the response. You don't have to, and it's important that you don't question, how do I do that? Or what does that mean? This isn't a question or a request to the logical mind. It's a request to the higher mind within you. So you don't have to question it. You don't have to wonder if what's he talking about? What does this mean? And you don't have to make any physical gestures. You don't have to say anything. Again, I can't hear you anyway. You don't have to do anything but allow that response, which you already know how to make, to allow that response to be. That's all. Based on the assumption that you believe, I would say even that you know that this light shines within you. I'm going to make I'm going to make a request, and you're going to respond. And as you respond, Just allow. Just allow the response. It's something you know how to do. All of us do. And here it is. Again, you don't have to sit back and like puzzle or start out from the place of, all right, I'm ready. I'm gonna examine what he's talking. You don't have to examine it. You don't have to think about it. Just allow it. Here's the response, the request. Pardon me. Show me your light now. Allow it to shine. Open to that. This is who you are.